there's no necessity here, but if any of you wants to do an intro, wants to say hi, we can do that. That would be nice. Okay, we have a dead room.
Hi. Hi,
Hi,
Jim.
Arjun.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, man. Where are you from? What kind of photography do you do?
Yeah, I'm from Bangalore. I do travel photography basically, and also have started doing some commercial projects for my friends, like
Okay,
wedding and event photography.
sure.
Yes.
Nice. Parthiv, I think, is up next. He's got his.
Hi,
Hi.
hi, sir. Good afternoon. I'm from Hyderabad.
Hi, Parthiv.
I'm a freelance photographer from Hyderabad.
Okay. You can, if you're feeling shy, you can say
Just
hi in the chat as
getting into
well.
weddings.
You're just getting into weddings? How many weddings have you shot, man?
Yeah. Maybe I can count on one hand, but then my biggest
Okay.
one is going to be in a few days in Falaknama. Yeah.
Nice. Congratulations. All the best for that. Arun is saying hi. Hi, Arun.
Thank you so much.
Okay. If you're all
Hello, sir.
hi, Selvan.
Tirumalai Selvan, yes, sir.
Yes, hi,
How are you,
Selvan.
sir?
I'm good, man. Tell me.
Myself, Tirumalai. I'm from Kanjipuram, actually.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just learning from past 5 years. I'm doing wedding photography and some other events also. Now I covered actually 32 to 34 events till now.
Wow.
From 2018 to 2022. That's it. The classes are so amazing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Selvan. One sec. Awesome. Everyone, I think, is saying a lot of highs. Team TDC, you tell us if you want to go ahead. Should we start with the questions? What do we do?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Should we? I think there were some questions that had already come in from you guys. Should we attack that first, or is one of you going to moderate and just pick?
I think you can start off with the questions that have already come.
Okay.
And
sure.
then we can have an open Q&A session.
Okay, guys. Overall, okay. So before we get into the questions, I think I just want to say that I hope most of you have seen the video content already, right? My idea of, by the way, I'm going to speak a lot in English. So if you're not comfortable, if you want me to speak in any other language, I know Telugu, I know Hindi. That's all I know. But I mean, I know Indonesian as well, but that's not going to help you. So I'm going to slow down and talk. You want me to repeat something, you can always say that. That's not a concern, right? So number one is, I hope you've gone through the videos already. The idea with the videos was that they're repeatable, they're shorter, they're not this 25-hour masterclass wala bit, right? The idea was that you should be able to see them multiple times, go back to it, you have a doubt, etc. The idea is also that before a wedding shoot day, maybe you can just open it up and give yourself a pep talk, so whether it is for moments, whether it's for portraits, whatever it is, right? And the idea was to show you a lot of our work across genres, right? So that you can automatically get into that mode. That is the idea. So next time you have a wedding and you're feeling a bit nervous about your portraits, you're feeling a bit nervous about what kind of moments you're going to shoot, feel free to just play that half an hour bit again, right? And you can really take that in. Yeah, I think we have 3 key questions that had come in from Ritu Paltani, Chinnu Hari, and Biren Panda. I'm going to attack the first one, which is Ritu's question, Ritu's question was very specific. How can I make my subjects eyes pop up and sparkle? Okay, so there are 2 separate parts to this. I think if you've seen the course, you would understand that I approach weddings as 2 separate genres altogether. One is your portrait photography, which is everything that you're posing in. Basically, every time you are talking to somebody and you're telling them, please stand here, please do this, look this way, look that way, that to me is a separate genre of photography. You are a different photographer when you're shooting portraits or you're posing somebody, right? And you're a different photographer when you are quietly going around stealing moments, right? It's like you're literally, you're stealing moments, right? You're seeing a good moment and you're going there and you're capturing. All that is natural, etc. That's a different skill set altogether, because the second one needs you to be quiet, the first one needs you to talk a lot. So it's a very odd part of our wedding photography life, right? So when Ritu asked me how can I make my subject's eyes pop up, in the first part, which is posed photos, I would say definitely have something like a light source close to the camera, right? Close to the camera, so the reflection of the light source is seen in your eyes, right? That is typically called a catch light. It's one of the basic things that we do, even if we are shooting in daylight. It's nice to have some source of light close to the eye, so the eyes have life in them. That's number one. Number two is basically, when you're shooting portraits, though, always try and see if you can when you're shooting moments, always try and see if you can use a flash, whether it is off camera or on camera. Sometimes what we do at Stories is we put the flash on a stand and just leave it somewhere, right? So most of our shots have, whenever, like during a mandap, for example, mandap, muhurat, whatever kind of ones you're shooting, Telugu wedding, Hindu wedding, a North Indian wedding, etc. You'll always have these pillars, right? So we put a cheap 700 rupee light stand and one flash there. Okay, that ensures that there's always consistent light in all of our photos. It's a very simple thing to carry. That's pretty much what we do. Actually, that's the only technical part. Okay. If you guys need any discussion on this, I'm happy to get in there before I move on to my second answer. Okay. It's a very shy bunch of 50 people that is in this room right now.
Yeah, what I was trying to tell is that if anyone has any questions, you can just ask Joseph directly here. And I have a few list of questions which came after the deadline. Mm-hmm. So after Joseph finishes the questions which has already come, I will post them. Yeah.
Thanks, Preetham. Also, you guys, like if any of you are traveling, like Arun is saying he's traveling, so he's using only audio. You're totally okay to just put it in the chat as well. So, if you have any questions, just drop it in the chat. We'll make it work. My idea with this is to make it as, this is your session. It's not my session. Okay. Kumuta, you raised your hand. Let me know.
Yes. Hi, sir. I'm from Singapore.
Okay. Hi, Kumuta.
Okay. Hi. My question is, how many lights, because you mentioned about leaving light stands around the
mandap. Correct.
Right. Yeah. So usually, how many light stands does one photographer have? Because, like for myself, I'm a second photographer. I'm cooking shots, but when I want to do candids of the audience, I think that's where the light becomes an issue for me.
Correct.
So how would your team actually tackle that?
So the one thing we do at Stories, firstly, is that we don't have any assistants. Okay. So even when I am going to a wedding, I don't have any assistant carrying my bags or lenses or anything. The reason I'm saying this is because I know there are a lot of different kinds of photographers in this group right now. Some might be running a studio, some might be just thinking of doing weddings, or some might be going alone to weddings, right? So our process is designed around going actually for the photographer who's going alone to shoot weddings, because we try to keep it as simple as possible, right? And to minimize the number of photographers who are visible to the client, right? So we use these things called Manfrotto BAC 150, I think it's called. It's this really collapsible 6 foot tall light. It's not very tall. It's not 9 foot. It's not 8 foot, but we can take 3 of them. The whole thing fits like this much, right? Once it's collapsed. So either the Manfrotto Nano or this is what we carry, right? We carry really for moments or anything. Like, I'm going to give you 3 examples here. One is a dance floor. Okay, a dance floor typically is a rectangle. So we place 2 of these lights on either corner, right? So either this corner or this corner, whatever it is. So when somebody is dancing, if they're facing me, if the lights are on either side, they have strip lights, right? If they're facing the light, they have a back light and a front light, right? And you get it, right? So 360 degree, and it's a simple setup, right? And we don't use big lights as well. We use something like most of our lights are either the Profoto A1 or the Godox V1, which is much cheaper, right? Or the Godox 8000, which is like literally, I mean, I wish next time I do this live, I'll actually have these things in front of me, but the 8000 is this much, right? And it runs throughout the night. It runs for 4 to 5 hours easily. So that is for a dance floor. When it comes to a mandap, we typically have these right in front, both of them left and right. The reason why is because whatever kind of wedding it is, a lot of guests come on stage, right? So even if the deco people have put lighting behind, the guests get in the way of that light, right? So all we're trying to do is ensure that worst case scenario, our bride and groom are lit by at least one light. Yeah. The last is, I'm sure you've seen this on my Instagram. There are a lot of photos where there's a lot of water splashing, correct? So all of those shots are lit with flash, because even though there is enough daylight around, what we're trying to do is ensure that the water is frozen, and that is really only possible when there is a flash involved. Okay, so for those, we are again doing the same thing. We're putting a light on either side, but this time we're putting it at the back, right? So behind me, 2 lights. For the haldis, everything we shoot, it's all behind. Typically they're at daylight because this is just to illuminate that water. So those are 3 easy light setups. What I suggest is more from a teaching perspective, because these almost sound like recipes. What you should be, one second. Yeah. What you should be doing, and this is general practice. There are about 45 of us right now, photographers on this call. What I suggest is during your off time in your house, use these flashes and light stands, okay? Because mostly what happens is, after I finish this call, mostly you will either get on Amazon or B&H or whatever you have, you will immediately order these things. Like sum total, you won't spend more than 300 USD to buy everything. 2 flashes, 2 stands, everything you'll buy. Next time, the first time you use it will be at a wedding, right? And that is recipe for disaster. Because at the wedding, you will be hunting for, like, this is a mic right now, but you'll be like hunting, and you'll be like, okay, what does this button do? What does this button do? That's all nonsense. All of us have a hall in our homes, right? So place these lights at 2 ends of that hall, right? So one like this, 2 at the front. If you don't have kids, if you have a husband, if you have a dog, if you have a help that comes home, right? Get them to dance in front of it, get them to do something, right? But try experiment a lot at home with it and make all your mistakes at home, okay? So that when you go to the site, you are chill. When I started my career, I used to shoot with a 4 light setup with 4 stands and all. I brought it down now to 2. So what we do is there's typically a team of 3 to 4 of us shooting. Half of us bring lights and light stands to the shoot. Simple, right? That's how we do. Thanks for the question, Kumita. Anybody else with this? Okay, there's somebody else here. I like this. I think the first 20 minutes is becoming a lighting class. Hello, sir. When we go with group photography of special moments, how do we need to set up our lights, focus more on subjects, even if it's crowded? Same thing, actually, Sahaya. The basic thing is, even for group shots, put one at the left and put one at the right. Right? You are not trying to do creative photography here. Okay. At this point, at least, the better you get at using lights, the more comfortable you become. I know all of you are very comfortable currently just using your camera, right? All of you are comfortable using your camera. You need to get to that level of comfort with lights as well. The simplest way is to just put 2 lights in the front, 45 degrees on either side. That's it. Nothing else. So it's a large group shot. You're facing them. So you're looking at me, right? I'm the photographer. You'll have one here and one here. That's it. Nothing else. Yeah. I'm going to end this lighting discussion with Nikhil's question. Sir, what about diffusers? Great question, Nikhil. Nikhil, all I'll say is, if it fits in your bag, it goes with you. Okay. So we don't use 4-foot diffusers. We don't put these huge diffusers and everything, only because it's very difficult to carry. We're already talking about 2 light stands. Correct. So for us, the simplest things are, I will, during the course of this class, when one of you is asking a question, I'm going to link to a very interesting diffuser we use. It's just a 2-foot circle. That's all it is. It collapses and goes back into our camera bag and it disappears. I'm going to link to that. That's all we use, actually. We don't actually, our diffusion principles are very simple. If you want softer light, we bring the light closer to the subject. That's it. Okay. We don't use 4 foot, 5 foot octas or anything else. Nikhil, I'm going to just link to that. I think that should be good. There's a second question that has come in. Sorry, I'm really moving fast because my idea is to give you guys as much information as possible. Right. Okay. We'll get to Ritish's question later. Chinnu Hari asked something which is at the other side of the shoot. What editing tools do one start with and move on to? If you don't mind sharing, how did you learn editing your photos using different tools? Very good question. I think there is only one answer to this. There can be many answers otherwise, but there's only one answer, I think, for wedding photographers in India right now. We use Lightroom, Adobe Lightroom, and it's Adobe Lightroom Classic, not the regular Lightroom. Why do we use Classic? Is because it has more controls. All of our editing is done at the computer. We travel with laptops. In fact, my laptop is right here, so I can show you. This is literally my 13-inch laptop that I travel with. The only thing we need in the software is an ability to run through hundreds of files very fast. Yeah. So Lightroom allows us to do that. Lightroom Classic. That's what we use. How did I get comfortable? Before you start editing, before you start seeing YouTube videos on how to do better in Lightroom, what I suggest is a good editor is somebody who knows how to use the software, but a good artist is somebody who knows what their photo should look like. There's a very big difference. Okay. You can open any photo and make it look like garbage in Lightroom, right? Even a good photo. So instead of starting with the edit in the software, what I suggest is you sit down and you find different styles of photos that you like. Yeah. Create a small, like on your desktop, on your computer, create a small folder saying edits I like. There could be photos from me. There could be photos from stories. There could be photos from 2-man studios, or I don't know, our friends House on the Clouds or Naman or whatever it is, right? I'm sure you guys know these names. I look for Amar Ramesh, the Indian guys, or you go international, go to Europe, go to the US, download some photos and keep them at your side saying that this is my goal. This is where I want my photo to go to. That is when an edit can begin for you, because if you don't know the end point of an edit, you will continue to keep on editing, right? Just for our knowledge, I don't edit for more than 30 seconds per photo. That's my maximum time that I spend in Lightroom. If I want to, and if I need to do anything else in Photoshop, like I need to remove some object or something like that, that might take another 30 seconds, but that's the maximum time I'm editing. In fact, right now, just before this class, I edited about 100 photos from a shoot day before yesterday in 1 hour, finished it off, sent it to client, and I'm sitting with you guys. Yeah. So that's how edit should be. You should have an end goal. Without an end goal, it's pointless. Okay. So start off small, put easier goals, then go complex. There are some crazy guys in Europe doing some mad edits. So Adobe Lightroom Classic, it's a bundle. I think it's about 800 rupees per month for Lightroom and Photoshop. Learn it, go to YouTube, become masters at it. Yeah. The third question that has come up in the chat, I'm going to actually approach it at the last. Let's still talk about some technical stuff. Ritesh asks, my doubt is when shooting in open sunlight like a Bharat, there is always a harsh shadow on faces. How to light up shadow part of faces with natural light? Very nice. Okay. Ritesh, a couple of things here. Okay. There is, the first part is lighting. The second part is actually the edit as well, right? So there is editing a harsh lit photo is an art in itself. So within Lightroom, within Photoshop, within Lightroom, you have a lot of options to do, to basically ensure that your shadows are well lit, right? So if you don't pull blacks too much, if you put it at 0 or even higher, your shadows will still have a lot of detail. Modern cameras actually have a lot of dynamic range. That's number one. Number two, when you're shooting a Bharat, this is a small tip for you, right? Try as much as possible to get to shoot people when they're dancing like this, when their head is up. Why? Because the light is coming in from the top. Okay. So the more you shoot with your head like this, you're going to have a problem. If it's like this also, it's fine. If they're looking down, they're fully in shadow. When you shoot them like this, you will have shadows under the nose and the eyes, making it look bad, right? But that's one of the things. So when you're curating, it's easy to just shoot them when they're dancing that way. That's typically how a dance pose is, right? Apart from that, I don't really recommend using flashes in daylight because there's a whole bunch of other complications that get in. You need to use high speed sync or HSS. You need to otherwise use lots of power in order to add a little bit of shadow detail as well, right? So have an on-camera flash if you want. It'll look good, but don't get fixated on it. If you really want to do it well though, and you want to do it like you want to make those Bharat photos look crazy good, what you need is powerful lights. You need something at least of 300 watts or more, which would be a Godox AD300 or a Profoto B10 Plus or a B10, right? You have those, you can really blast power. But guys, Ritesh, you also know this. A Bharat is moving, right? So whenever a Bharat is moving, that means you have to keep moving that light. So you think about it. I mean, if you want, that's what you could do, but I don't recommend it. I mean, there's a lot you can just get away with being smart in terms of how you shoot around daylight. Yeah. Okay, Parthiv was asking, Preetham, what are the other questions you had before we get to the questions in chat? Preetham? Okay.
Sorry, Joseph, yeah, tell me.
You had some other questions, you said?
Yeah. I mean, if the person who was asking the question, I think he's there.
Okay, cool.
A student named Badal Vaidya.
Okay. Sure.
Badal, if you're there, you can ask Joseph directly. Badal Vaidya, Subhajit Panigrahi.
Okay. Oh, Badal's actually asked a question here, actually. He's asked it in the chat. Sorry, Badal. How should we communicate? Yeah.
Okay. Subhajit's question is, I'll just read it out to you. Hold on.
Sure.
He wants to know about, just wanted to ask, I want to keep it light and simple. Then what will be the one lens and one body? Should one body should an individual choose who's willing to start wedding photography?
Okay. So Shubhajit, okay, since we're still talking technicals, I'll get to Badal's question later. It's more of the softer side of things. So it would be quite nice to answer both of them. Yeah.
Okay. And then, if you want, there's another one from Sudarshan.
Okay.
From Sudarshan. He's saying that is Instagram the only source of marketing for the new age?
I can see that in the chat. In the chat. Okay. So we'll get there. Okay. So now, guys, I think let's answer the first question, which is from Shubhajit, right? You were saying ouch, one sec. Sorry, guys. Preetham, can you repeat that question? I think I missed that.
Which one? Sudarshan's?
Yes. Yeah. No, Sudarshan the pehle. Shubhajit.
Subhajit. Okay.
Yeah.
He's saying that just wanted to ask if I want to keep it light and simple.
Yes. Okay. So
then
cool.
What will be the one lens and one body?
Sure.
The individual choose who's willing to start.
Sure. Okay. So, okay, to answer Shubhajit's question, I'm sure everyone, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I'm sure all of you have your gear already. But in case you don't and you're looking to buy gear, what I suggest is don't get fixed on this one magic lens. Okay, because that one magic lens will mostly be a 24 to 72.8, which will cost you a lot of money from any brand today, whether you're going with Sony, Nikon, Canon, Sigma, Tamron, you name it, whether you buy 28 to 75, 24 to 70, whatever it is. You're much better off buying 2 prime lenses or 3 prime lenses. Okay, the 3 lenses that I would recommend, and you don't need anything big. Simply put, a simple side bag, a side sling bag, which will carry 3 tiny lenses is more than enough. So what I suggest is an ultra wide, something around 18 to 20 mm, a mid, which is a 35 mm, and a tele, which is an 85 mm. Buy all of these in the budget value of whatever brand you're buying today. It's in the class. I talk about it, but I can tell you as well. For example, Sony's 35 comes in at about 50,000. Whereas Samyang's 35mm 1.8 comes in at about 30,000. Pick whatever works for you, whichever system works for you, right? The end result is, all I'm asking you to do is, at the price of a 24 to 70, you will get 3 incredible lenses, which you can easily carry to a shoot. That to me is also keeping it simple and light. It is not complicating things. It's allowing you to have more choices when you go to make a portrait. As simple as that, right? When you go to make a portrait or a moment, you have 1.8 onwards aperture instead of 2.8, right? That's what I would recommend you do. Okay. Now let's get to the softer ones. I think Parthiv, your question was already answered. You said, what about lights and diffusers for portrait sessions? We carry the same lights and diffusers all around. In the tutorial that I shot though, there were a couple of RGB tubes that were being used anyway. So I used them, but 99% of it were all just a window light. If you are blessed enough to shoot in daylight, please go to the closest window. There's a window behind me. There's an excellent portrait waiting at that window for you. Okay. So whether you're in a hotel room, whether you're in a banquet hall, whatever it is, if you don't have that, have a 2 to 3 foot diffuser. That's all I would say. 2 foot is our sweet spot. Almost 99% of our photos are shot with just a 2 foot diffuser. That could be a softbox or it could be a pancake sun disk, which I'll just share the link here. Okay. Now let's talk about some complex stuff. Okay. Sudarshan is asking, is Instagram the only source of marketing for the new age wedding photographer, or the conventional word of mouth marketing still works for making a full-time living out of wedding photography business? Right. Now, I think now is going to get a bit interesting for everybody. If you are not interested in the technical side of things, this is really going to get, I hope we have a little bit more discussion in the chat regarding this, right? Here's what I think. I think firstly, to start a wedding photography business, you need one client. The first client is the key, right? I think that's where Instagram might help. But more importantly, your friends will help, your family will help, your network of people will help. You have one client, which means that you have one paying client, correct? Hopefully you've seen this class, you've seen other classes, you have leveled up, you have learned the skills, etc. Now that one client, you should blow them out of the water. You should make them super happy. Hopefully they'll lead you to one more client, right? If they don't, you can also search for one more client, correct? But the idea is that you genuinely don't need Instagram today, because at least as a source of marketing, till you already have 10, 20 weddings under the belt, right? Because till then you don't have anything to show on Instagram for starters. The second big thing is, you are always going to be thinking more about what to post on Instagram than getting your skills better, right? And delivering to your clients. There are a lot of successful wedding photography businesses today, which you are not even present on Instagram. Lots of them, lots of really good studios that are sitting in cities today, which are not even talking about this. Yeah. So I think the biggest thing here is going to be how well you treat your clients and how well you're continuously looking for that next one more client. Because my take with Instagram is very simple. Instagram is only for enquiries and visibility. Does that make sense? It's only for enquiries, guys. It's not for anything else. So you're going to get a lot of questions saying, can I hire you? They don't know how much you are priced at, unless your website clearly says that, unless you clearly say it on Instagram, correct? So they're also throwing darts. That's all it is. Instead, when a client recommends you to somebody else, they know exactly what they're going to pay you, right? Okay, so I would say spend as much time as possible on getting better at your craft and getting that next one client. Go one client at a time. In your first year, if you've done 5 to 10 weddings, I think you've already done a brilliant job. From there, it'll only get exponentially higher. That's all I would say. Parthiv immediately asks, I really like the question because it's a great follow-up. He said, you spoke about not doing ads in your class when you started out initially. What are the steps to take to evolve and grow as a brand, get work, especially when you don't have a solid portfolio? I think, Parthiv, you answered the question yourself. The last sentence in your question is the answer, right? The first step has to be to actually get a solid portfolio. When I say portfolio here, I don't mean just a portfolio of good photos, but a portfolio of very happy clients, right? What I mean by happy clients is not this subjective happiness, but objective happiness, which means that you can actually reach out to them and ask them to write a testimonial for you, right? So that when somebody reaches, the next person who reaches out to you, you're able to say, listen, my photos are nice, but my service delivery is so good that this is what my client is able to say confidently, right? I think that is immensely confidence inspiring for somebody who comes as a stranger to you, correct? So focus in on testimonials, focus in on getting more of your clients to talk about you, because that I think is your biggest strength. That is number one. So your brand will slowly grow. It's never going to grow super fast. You can be a celebrity on Instagram, you can have 100,000 followers, and you still can be out of business. Trust me, you can be totally out of business. Like everybody will come, because if people are not happy with the kind of work that you're doing, it doesn't matter, because Instagram doesn't require much. Instagram only requires you to walk away with 10 to 15 good photos from each wedding. That means you do 10 weddings a year, that's 100 posts a year, right? That's one every 3 days. And at each wedding, you also take one video, that's a reel. So that's your 200 posts for the year. Okay, that's very easy to do, but it's not business related, correct? So that's what I would highly recommend you do. Try to get testimonials, try to get a portfolio of happy clients. And especially lastly, my recommendation is you reach out to these happy clients, which means that 6 months after their wedding, 1 year after their wedding, call them, talk to them, not asking them, okay, now which friend of yours is getting married? No, right? But how are they doing? Is there anything else you can do for them? Maybe like a family shoot, maybe they've had a baby, I don't know. Follow your clients, stay in touch with them is what I would recommend, right? Oh, wow. Parthiv has a even more tough question. How did you choose wedding photography when you started? Because it's overwhelming when you have to niche down and then choosing between video plus photo. I didn't choose wedding photography. I would say wedding photography chose me. It happened to me because my sister got married, and I was looking for a wedding photographer for her. I didn't find somebody, but then I got obsessed with the craft. I think 1.5 years later, this is in 2008. I just got really obsessed with it, and then I just got stuck with it. So I did do video for 5-6 years. After that, we completely gave up on video. Today we are only doing photo and nothing else, and we're quite happy doing that actually. Okay. Any questions? Okay, so Ratna Priya has already asked a question saying how to price a wedding. Somebody else, Biren, also asked in the question saying how much should we charge for a wedding? I'm gonna get to that the last. Okay.
So
a couple more questions from Bipasha. What advice would you give to an amateur photographer wanting to change their passion into a full-time profession? I get asked this question a lot. Okay. This is possibly the one question that everybody asks me. And my answer has always been straightforward with this. Whatever you're doing today, whichever way you're earning money right now, okay, apart from wedding photography, don't leave that till you're forced to leave it. What does that mean? Is when I quit my job in November 2010, I had 14 weddings booked already for the next 4 months. I didn't have a choice, right? I can't keep taking leave every 2-3 days, right? So my boss won't allow me to do it. So I had to quit my job, correct? So the only reason I say this is not because there's a recession coming according to all indicators, right? But you should know that when I did this also, it was just after a recession. I did this way back in 2009, which was in the fallout of the 2008 recession, correct? So you should know that it's the old saying, right? A bird in hand is better than two in the bush, right? But overall, just remember, this is not just a creative choice you're taking. This is a career choice you're taking, right? And I don't want anybody on this call. Again, there are 40 of us on this call. I don't want any of you to get into a position where your photography choice, your decision is making you sad that you took it up, right? I know a lot of you today, if you're contemplating this, you're doing it because you're excited. You're excited about photography. You're excited about being a photographer and doing cool things and traveling and all of that jazz, right? So ideally, if you have a job right now, keep it. Continue to do photography as a part-time thing till it forces you to become a full-time profession. That's the simplest advice, right? To follow up to this question is it difficult to start a career with photography like every other job? Yeah. Of course it is. The good thing with photography though is, unlike other jobs, you can actually learn it on the side, right? If you're doing software today, you can learn it on the side. There's nothing stopping you from continuing it as a hobby and doing it, which is what I did, guys. I did this in my first 2 years. I was working as a business development manager. I had my weekends off. I would take my camera and go For the second year of that time, I would be shooting a wedding almost like 3 weekends a month. That's how crazy it would be for me till I finally quit and had to take this up. Yeah. Shubhajit, I think I've already answered that question. I think you're looking for a magic answer to what is that single lens. There is no single lens, my friend. You can keep asking me. There are at least 2 lenses that you need to carry to a wedding. I would not say that there is only one single lens, because if there is a single lens, you're always going to be facing compromises. Yeah. Okay. Let's get to
Joe,
Ratnapriya and Biren's question from earlier,
Joe,
which is
before that,
how do you price for wedding photography? Okay. Okay, so my answer is going to sound funny to a lot of you, right? I honestly don't think it has anything to do with your brand. I don't think it has anything to do with a client need as well. If you are, say, in Tirupur right now, right, from Tamil Nadu, or you are in Nashik, Maharashtra, or you're in Delhi, wherever you are, okay, today, I think the first thing that you need to ask yourself is a very honest question, and this is life advice to you guys. Sit down, write on a sheet of paper or in an Excel sheet your expenses and your lifestyle that you want to maintain, the cost of your lifestyle. Okay, that includes your rent, everybody who depends on you, your savings, everything, right? All of it. Just write, forget wedding photography for a second. I can see Ratnapriya Studio, Arjun Durga with their cameras on. Thank you. Both of you are nodding. So I'm going to take Vipasha as well as an example. All 3 of you, I'm sure, lead different lives wherever you are, right? Your electricity bill is different. Your telephone bill is different. I don't know, your weekend bills are different, right? You're partying, you may party, you may not party, whatever it is. Your travel goals are different, right? Some of you might want to go to Europe, somebody just wants to go to Ernakulam, right? Very different things. It's okay. Write it down on a sheet of paper and then multiply it by 12. That's what you get for a year, right? Add 50%, okay, because worst case scenario, right? Now divide that by 20, which is the number of weddings that I hope you're doing, okay? Is a nice target to have. I think it's a very fair target to have, correct? That is how much you should be charging, my friends, per wedding. Okay, it has nothing to do with whatever the hell is going on around you, okay? Because whether you're in, as I said, whether you're in Nashik, whether you're in Kochi, wherever you are, end of the day, if this job is not paying you to maintain your lifestyle, why the hell are you doing this job? Fair enough, right? That's all I'm going to ask. It's a very simple question. So that's all I'm asking. Write down your expenses for your targeted lifestyle. That will help you arrive at your answer, correct? Then you will understand that some of you might have good news. The good news is you're already charging more than you should be charging. That is excellent news. You know what that tells me? Next time when a client comes to me, you have the ability to negotiate a little bit because you know it's not going to hurt you too much. Correct? That's number one. Some of you might sit down there and start crying. I am not earning enough money for my lifestyle, which is also good because it tells you that you need to either change your pricing or you need to do more weddings. Fair enough. Both those things are fine. Correct? This is not a pricing advice that you expect normally. Correct? Everybody will tell you that look around the 10 wedding photographers around you. Boss, that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, your life matters. Correct? I want you each, and the good thing is in whatever I'm telling you, some of you might realize that you don't need to run a wedding photography business. Maybe all you need to do is freelance for another wedding photographer and your needs will be met. Fair enough. That's another excellent answer to arrive at, because I'm going to just take Arjun's example because I keep seeing his face. Actually, Prithvi has turned his camera on. Thank you, Prithvi. Prithvi might take a call that he wants to work with Ratnapriya Studio and he'll earn the same amount of money to maintain his lifestyle. I think that's an excellent way of living life because it means that Prithvi can be the wedding photographer he wants to be without doing all the other nonsense of being a wedding photographer. He doesn't have to worry about his Instagram, his brand, about if a pissed off client or about delivery or anything. He goes, he shoots for Ratnapriya, maybe he edits for them, whatever it is, he delivers the photos, he's done, job done, he goes home, right? So these are all questions that you guys need to ask yourself, and it'll be really, really nice if all of you have these answers with you. correct? Sanjeevani is asking, is this fair? Can I have some thumbs ups in the chat so far? Okay, some thumbs ups are there. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, quickly, do you think being available and active on Insta has its own pros for the business front? Sanjeevani, firstly, I am not against Insta. I am against Instagram as a business tool purely, right? You need to hedge your bets. Twitter was taken over by Elon Musk 2 weeks ago. We all have no freaking idea where Twitter is going in the next 2 weeks. Okay. In the same way, Instagram decided about 1 year ago that it is a video platform and it's no longer a photo platform. Okay. We don't know. It is, if you are running a business, you have two things to take care of, which is reducing risks and increasing predictability. Reducing risk and increasing predictability. What is, well, the first one, if you're reducing risk, you need to put your eggs in many baskets. So Instagram is just one of those things, correct? The rest, as I said, is reaching out to clients, reaching out to your friends network, getting more weddings, maybe reaching out to planners, reaching out to makeup artists, reaching out to DJs, Sangeet choreographers, designers, you name it, to ensure that you have even maybe one client every 2 years coming from one source. Just one client, guys, no more, no less, just one simple client. That's all you're looking for. Okay. So and that will ensure that overall you have a slow pool of clients coming from different sources, right? Instagram maybe gives you 10 clients, your one wedding planner contact gives you 2 clients, etc. Some of them come via natural stuff, whatever it is, correct? That's number one. Number two, as I said, is increasing predictability. Increasing predictability just means that if you're shooting 10 weddings this year, you want to ensure you're shooting 10 weddings next year, correct? This ensures that your rent is paid, right? That your children's whatever is paid for, their school fees, their food, whatever is the problem, right? So that's what you want to do. Two things that I want all of you to keep in mind: reduce risks, increase predictability. Yeah. Ratnapriya is asking a very complex question. Can someone get a chance to work with you at least in one wedding? Anyone, that person feels lucky. Thank you, guys. Okay, so honestly, we don't do interns. We don't take people to the weddings. That is because I'll tell you the reason why we don't do that is because we, frankly speaking, we shoot extremely private events. Okay, and we actually ensure the clients, all of our clients, that whoever is shooting this is a Stories employee, correct? And that they are known for that. But what I can do, and I'm really looking forward to do this, I'm working with TDC, in fact, to see if we can just meet up, man, in real life. So we can do a multi-city tour, whatever it is. Thank you so much for joining in these sessions, by the way. This is not, for me, this is not Instagram. This is not an Instagram live. This is more personal. You guys have already taken the leap of faith to actually sit through the videos and see my face for 15-20 hours. So I'm happy. So this means that we can move it to the next level and do catch up in real life and talk about these things, right? Same thing, Ritu. I think I've just answered your question as well. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to some of the technical questions. Prithvi asked, when it comes to weddings, storage is a big deal to keep it safe. How to manage that? Can you please explain about data storage, backup, and what kind of hard disk we have to choose? Okay, this I can get visual. Okay, so what I suggest is, first and foremost, all your working data. What is working data? There are 3 types of data you are going to have. I hope you're taking notes. There are going to be 3 types of data that you're going to be shooting at every wedding or making at every wedding. The first is your shoot data, which is your live wedding, correct? That means you're shooting. Your most Indian weddings are at least 2 days, if not 3 days, correct? So you won't have, I'm assuming you don't have any time to touch that data, right? So you're shooting, so that's your live shoot data. That's number 1. Number 2, the wedding is over. Now you need to start working on it. That's your working data. That's your editing data, correct? Number 3, the wedding is closed. You have delivered all the photos. The client is very happy. That's your long-term storage data, correct? So shoot, edit, storage, right? What you have to do is you have to start, your backup strategy needs to start at shoot itself. It can't start from edit, okay? So while shooting, first and foremost, we shoot with Sony cameras. All of them have 2 dual slots, right? Have 2 slots for cards. So every shoot, every camera has 2 memory cards. Number 1, okay? 2 memory cards, because in case one gets corrupt, the second one is working. Fair enough? In case you lose one, the second one is working, right? So in fact, we have a sticker on a card. Sometimes it says, do not remove out of camera. It's a 256 GB card. Just so you guys know, you get 256 GB cards today for about 8,000 to 9,000 rupees, which is not too expensive. It's a great strategy for you to have, to just leave the camera in there, leave the card in there and forget it, right? Then when it comes to edit, we use these, which are SSDs, right? They come in different shapes and sizes, whatever it is. These are solid state drives. Why are we using these? Is because firstly, they're much faster to edit from. They're faster to copy, because the last thing you want is finish a wedding at 2 a.m. in the night and then stay awake till 4 o'clock copying data. It's a fuck all thing, right? So you don't want that. You want this data to be copied very fast. So from a fast card, using a fast card reader, I have a fast card reader as well here. This is an Angel Bird fast reader, right? So this is a dual SD card slot. It copies 2 cards at once. This is about 6,000 rupees. So it copies at about 400 megabytes per second onto this, right? So which means that my entire night of copying is done in 10 minutes. I'm done. I go to bed. Next, once the shoot is done, I'm going to back up this to a hard disk. Okay. How does a hard disk look? Obviously, a hard disk looks much bigger. This is a very good, typical old school hard disk. This you get for 4 TB at about 6,000, 7,000 rupees, right? So I'm not going to touch the hard disk. I'm going to do all my editing off this SSD. In case this SSD fails, in case I lose it, in case it gets burnt, I have a data backup on the drive, correct? On the hard drive. At every given point, I have 2 copies of the data. Fair enough? And finally, when I deliver the clients, that data is being copied where? To the cloud. Currently we use SmugMug. You could be using Zenfolio, Google Drive, Dropbox, your wish. That is our 3-step strategy, correct? This is cleared after every shoot or whenever it is full. It doesn't need to be backed up or anything. This is never cleared. We are copying the data once. Once it is full, I'll buy another hard drive. Once it is full, we'll buy another hard drive, etc., etc., etc. Right? This means that at Stories, we actually have our clients' data going back to 2013 and 14 as well. 9 years ago, we still have the data active. It's all cataloged. It's neatly written down. Correct? That's what I would suggest for you. Just remember one thing: the philosophy of data storage for photographers should always be that please don't assume that you're shooting photos or you're making art. You are generating megabytes of data. Okay, you are generating gigabytes of data. That's your final delivery, right? Your camera makes 20 to 30 megabytes per file, and finally you deliver a 20 to 30 megabyte edited JPEG to your client. It's all data. Forget about the art. Nobody gives a shit about your art if it gets deleted and you lose it, right? So for me, you should be spending as much money as you do on cameras and lenses as on data. Okay, it is totally fair. You're not being paranoid. Don't worry. If you're going to spend on anything, spend on data. Correct? Like before you splurge on the latest iMac or whatever, or the Mac M1, whatever, ensure that you have enough drives first to start with. Yeah, that's the one thing I have. Okay, I think we have still another 15 minutes to go. Thank you, Ratna, for joining in. Thank you so much for all your participation. Okay, if a guy is starting wedding photography and his budget is tight, Shubhajit, I've already told you the answer 3 times, man. Don't buy a single lens, Shubhajit. Ek lens mat kharido. Please buy 2 lenses at least. Is all I'm asking you. Okay, guys, any further questions? I'm happy to answer. Before we get there, I'm just going to read out Parthiv's question. You guys can do photo and leave video, but when you're starting out, if you don't give the whole package, we mostly will lose the project because people don't. Okay, Parthiv, that is an excellent question. Parthiv is trying to say that Stories is a very big brand. That's why we can do photo and say we only do photo. Okay. Parthiv, here's the simple thing. A client is not going to leave you because you do only one thing. They're going to leave you because it's inconvenient to hire you. Is that fair? It's inconvenient to hire you because the next guy is offering a package deal, right? So let's assume this is Parthiv versus Selvan, Mortal Kombat fight. Okay, so clients, Selvan is like, I offer everything. I offer photo, video, LED screen, drone, flying, flowers, everything I'll do for you. Parthiv is like, I'll only do photo. Now the problem, Parthiv, is in the way you frame your service, right? If you're saying I only do photo, it makes it sound like you don't want to do anything else. That's not it, right? One of the greatest things I've learned from Fearless Photographers, the founder of Fearless, his name is V. He has a three-word statement which he wants all of us to remember. And I'm going to leave you guys with that, okay? Be of service. Be of service. It has nothing to do with good photography, right? Be of service. Help your bride and groom make the most of their day, right? So Parthiv, the way I'll reframe it is, you should be calling out to your friends. You can tell me in the chat which city you're from, right? Parthiv, if say you're from Baroda, you should be calling your friends in Baroda and saying, you're from Hyderabad, Parthiv. Okay, excellent. Any of your friends who's interested in video for weddings, call them up. Say, boss, I'm going to recommend you at every wedding that I go to. I'm going to assume a Telugu name, Rakesh Tullapalli from Hyderabad. Okay, so Parthiv calls Rakesh and says, RT, bro, I'm doing photo, you'll do video with me. Okay, bro, everyone, full one like that agreement is made between these two guys. Next time Neha comes to Parthiv, and Neha says, I have a wedding and I would like you to do photo and video. Parthiv doesn't say, I don't do video. He says, Neha, I would love to do photo for you, right? And I'm really good at it, and these are my photos. When it comes to video, I have a partner named Rakesh Tullapalli, right? See, Parthiv, you have answered and solved the client's problem by not looking like a diva. The idea is not that you don't care for their needs. It is that you understand what being an artist means. Being an artist means doing one thing and doing one thing very well, right? You don't have to build a team. You just need to find enough partners. Right? Trust more people, give more work to other people. We did this long ago. In 2016, we partnered with the wedding filmer. It would be really nice, right? Just trust. And dude, you won't trust anyone if you're friends with them on Instagram and you keep DMing them. You're in Hyderabad, go for a coffee, go to True Black Coffee and all those other coffee shops that Hyderabad has. Have a freaking coffee with them, hang out with them, get to know them as people. Do one wedding with them, do 10 weddings with them. I wish you the best of that career, right? Arun Kumar, and they get 15%. Okay, I can't know. It's very confusing, Arun Kumar. I'm very sorry. Sure, go ahead, Nitesh. Nitesh wants to ask a client experience related questions. Can we unmute Nitesh? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Joseph. This question is related to...
Nitesh, we can't hear you. Yeah, we can only see your lips talking.
Okay, are you able to hear me now? Hello. Are you able to hear me, Joseph?
I think Leroy is unmuted, muted everyone.
There's going to be an awkward silence.
Are you able to hear me, Joseph? Oh, my bad. Are you able to hear me?
Okay, we really can't hear Nitesh. Nitesh, I'm sorry.
No problem.
If you can, type it in the chat or... Oh.
Joe, I think there is some audio issue at your side.
Okay. Guys, anybody else has any question in the chat? Happy to say anything. Oh, sorry. Nitesh, can you repeat your question?
Are you able to hear me, Joseph?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Go
I
for
think I turned on the video and the voice was not coming in. So the question is about when we deliver the pictures to the client for selection, which procedure do we use? Do we send the pictures on G Drive on full resolutions?
Excellent question. Excellent
the
question.
whole process actually.
Sure. Nitesh, I'm going to give you some tips here. Some of you might already be doing this. Okay. I think this is actually a great question to end this on, because I said be of service, right? So let me tell you guys that there are, as a wedding photographer and your relationship with clients, there are two. If all of you can put on your videos, it'll be nice. It'll be nice to talk to you guys as friends. I can see some of you already, right? As a wedding photographer, in your journey from when the client discovers you, sends you an email or sends you a DM, right? Gets on a call with you, listens to your pricing, says, okay, Nitish is expensive, but I'll do my best. I will figure it out. She negotiates a bit with Nitish. Everything works out fine. She pays him the advance. Nitish goes and shoots the wedding. He backs up the files, as I said, in 3 different places, does an amazing edit on Adobe Lightroom Classic, right? Delivers the photos. Everything's well and done. All closed, correct? Now, the goal between all of these steps is that you want to ensure that you are giving a very happy experience to the client at all of these steps, okay? The 2 most important steps here are when you are on shoot. I expect Nitish already seems like a very nice guy. So he'll be very friendly. He'll get very friendly with Neha and family, and he'll be all like amammas, tatas and everyone. He'll get very close to them. He'll give hugs. He'll take great photos. Every client of yours at the end of a shoot always asks you nice things. Beta, have you had dinner? Have you had chai? Thank you so much. Everything ends nicely, right? That is not the end of your client relation. Okay. The end of your client relation is when you deliver the photos, correct? And my honest opinion is that delivering photos on Google Drive or Dropbox is the worst way you can deliver photos. Okay. It is like you going to a wedding, not talking to the client throughout. ये भाड़ में जाओ, किसी और का शादी है, मुझे क्या लेना देना है, मैं यहाँ पे फोटो लेके निकल रहा हूँ बस, right? You imagine you leave a wedding without telling the bride and groom you're leaving. It is like that, okay? Because a Google Drive folder is not personalized, number 1. Number 2, most importantly, it is just a bunch of photos, correct? Every wedding will have at least 1,000 photos, at least, correct? If not 2,000 photos, at least. Which means that it's exactly like going through your camera roll on your phone, right? You're just going, like, they're just going through it. There is no romance in it. All your good work, Nitish, out of those 1,000 photos, your best 50 photos are there somewhere in that. Your client's never going to see those best 50 photos. Is that fair? She's just going to scroll past it because so what we do, okay, is we use customized website solutions like PicTime. We use SmugMug, just so you know, but you can use something simpler like PicTime or anything else, which will build a beautiful website. And right on top of it, we'll say Nitish Nemal Photography, correct? It'll say very nicely about how, thank you for having Nitish at your wedding, right? And these are the events we shot for you. This is your wedding, this is your Sangeet, this is your Haldi. You click on each of those links, you see a beautiful set of photos, correct? You can go 1 step further, Nitish. In fact, you can go 2 steps further. The first step you should be doing is you should select your best photos from the wedding and make a gallery saying Nitish is best. Okay. Or the director's best. Call it whatever you want, man. Your wish. Highlights. Whatever it is, right? It's like wedding photography, as I say in my class, is like test cricket. Nobody wants to see 5 days of the whole goddamn match again, right? So create your highlights, share it with them. The 2 steps I said take it 1 step further, right? The second step is share that highlights first. Share that highlight, even if your full set is ready. Share that first. Why? Because the client sees your best work first. Correct? They may not like most of it. I will honestly tell you. Neha might be looking forward to her photo with her Amamma or Tauji or Masi or Bua the most. Okay? It's fine. She'll get it in 2 to 3 days. Right? Share this first. Let it get shared among all the family members. After 3 days, drop the big bomb. Drop the page with everything else. Let me go 1 step further. If you are in the same city, Nitish, if you're in the same city, Hyderabad, okay, or you're in Chittoor, wherever you are, right? Go to your client's house and show them that highlights. Correct? Because you don't control whether your client owns this is a Pixel 7 Pro or an iPhone 14 Pro or an iPad, or they have a shitty TV. You don't control which screen they're seeing it on. They can see your beautiful work on one fuck all Samsung tab, right? And then they'll be like, worst, Nitish's photos all blue color there. Nitish will be scratching his head thinking, what the hell am I doing here, right? Instead, get an iPad, right? I don't endorse Apple, but I'm saying just get a freaking iPad. It's the best display that you can own. Everybody knows how to navigate on an iPad, right? Copy your photos to the iPad, take it to the client's house, spend 15 minutes with them, have another chai, have one coffee, call them to a coffee shop, sit with them. That is the closure of your experience, right? Nitesh says, thank you, Neha, for having your wedding. Maybe she cries, right? Maybe they're happy. They'll give you a hug. Done. That's a freaking happy client. Don't give your photos on Google Drive. Please. Okay. That's all I'll recommend. Please, right? And your relationship starts very happy at the shoot. You want it to end very happy as well. They will always remember this, right? Just so you know, we shoot about 40 to 45 clients a year. Every one of our clients gets this experience at Stories, right? It's personalized. It's done with a lot of love. It is not just a link on an email ID saying service over, we're done. Yes, maybe you're shooting 200 weddings, then you can do that. Then please discard my whatever advice I've given you. But if you're not, I'm sure you can make time, correct? That's all I have, guys. I think we have spent a very, very nice session, actually. Thank you so much for having me. There are 2 questions here. I'll quickly see if I can answer them. I have a question of how do you reach this constantly don't feel like you don't have. Okay, Sharon is talking about overshooting, right? We all suffer from it. Okay, we all suffer from it, especially when we are low on confidence. We overshoot a lot. It's fine. Sharon, firstly, buy bigger cards. Secondly, what I suggest is start listening with your ears, right? You won't be blindly shooting if you're not, if you are keyed into the action. Listen to what the Pandit is saying during a wedding, for example. Okay. He is saying ki, abhi kanya ko leke aiye, you know, like bring her to the audience. So you know then where to stand, for example, correct? Try to understand the language, try to understand the rituals and listen to them. Then it's much easier to shoot. Okay. You won't miss a moment. It's very difficult to miss a moment if you are listening to what is going on. So please don't put your AirPods, your earbuds, everything. Just listen, stay away from the loudspeakers, you know, protect your ears as well. But that's all I'll say. Lastly, Arun Kumar is asking, I'm a beginner, how to agreement for it after given album, some customer not given. Arun, I cannot help you with that because genuinely that comes down to your confidence as a business person, right? I need all of you to be able to follow up with clients. And most of the time you're not able to do so because you've lost touch with that client. That's my honest opinion. When I started out, I would be making the same mistakes. I would be just delivering the photos and not talking to them. Correct? If I'm able to close the client relationship loop personally, then I feel confident enough to ask a tough question like, guys, can we close the payment as well? Right? Otherwise it seems awkward, right? It seems awkward when you're following up so many times. You shouldn't have to, right? That's possible. I think that should help. Thank you so much, guys, for everyone. Anybody wants to say hi and do anything, just do it now. Or let's do a group shot actually before I go. Whoever has their camera videos on, just say hi to the camera. Let's do this. This is okay. Wow, so many people are turning on their cameras. I'm afraid now. Suja is on a bike and talking. Stud he is. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, everyone say hi to the camera. One big group shot and done. Thank you so much, guys.